Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. We apologize. We had a couple of board members running a little late, but everybody seems to be here, so we can move on. So I'd like to call this meeting to order. Mr. Colarzo, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, por favor?
Of course. I'm the nearest to a student trustee. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. President Joey Acuña Jr.
Here.
Vice President Jocelyn Vargas. Here. Clerk Silvia Paz. Trinidad Arredondo.
Present.
Adonis Galarza Toledo.
Here.
Valerie Garcia.
Present.
Jesus Gonzalez. Here. Student Trustee Jennifer Sarabia. Barbara Hernandez. Present. Lynette Bautista. Present. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have everybody here. Item number 2.1, recognition of World Kid Win Challenge students and staff. Take it away.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Executive Cabinet. I'm actually going to turn this over to CTE TOSA, Mr. David Budai. He's going to give you a little bit of history about KidWin in our district, and he's also going to give you some interesting stats, and then we're going to give the recognition of our students and staff. Thank you.
I love that, stats and history. So 95 teams representing 377 students from 21 US states, Mexico and Taiwan competed at the 2024 KidWin World Challenge in Minneapolis, Minnesota last week. Now, 10 of the states got 0 awards. 5 states got 1 award. 4 states got 2 awards, and that includes Taiwan. California earned a total of 4 KidWin World Challenge Awards, and 3 of those are from Coachella Valley Unified School District. Each of our teams that won took home the Rookie of the Year award for their division. To win the Rookie of the Year award, the team had to be an all-around, high-performing, impressive first-year national qualifying team. So now I'm going to give you our teams. The elementary division Rookie of the Year is the windmaster from Peter Pendleton Elementary under Coach Lucy Rodriguez. It's Ivan Rodriguez. And I have certificates for the coaches and the students so they can come over here. On the middle school division, Rookie of the Year, are the Curiositors from Cesar Chavez Elementary. This is Celeste Castro and Alani Rivas under the coaches of Alexis Harding and Amy Atkin. Now, elementary beating out all the other middle school people there. Our high school division winner for the Rookie of the Year, the Regenerators from Coachella Valley High School, Victoria, Javier, and Brian. Come on down, guys. And Javier and Brian are seniors, so we're not going to see them next year, but Victoria, I'm sure, will be back. These are our world champions. So if you've been counting, oh, I forgot the coach from Coachella Valley High School, the phenomenal Juan Gomez. Come on down. And Coach Gomez here pretty much started this back in 2018 in Chicago when his Silver Bullet team won 3rd overall at the Nationals. Up to date, we now have 15 world winning awards for our district. Let's give these world champions a round of applause. And then I'll get the certificates out to them. And can we have the board come down and take pictures with these world champions?
Okay, but they're not signed yet. We're going to give them to you and then take them back. After tonight's meeting, they'll be signed. And then we'll deliver them to your school site.
I'll deliver them to your sites tomorrow. I promise, you are world champions.
Okay, can you help just read
Yes.
them all so that I don't, right?
So, wait, he said something about, oh yeah, 95 to 100%, that's it. Okay, all right.
No, that's it. As everyone's getting back to their seats, there is one more thing that I'd like to say. Mr. Budai has led KidWin since around 2011, 2012-ish, something like that. It's because of his tenacity in growing this program, and it's because of the tenacity of our teachers and really buying in. KidWind is everything STEAM. It is science, it is technology, it is engineering, it is art. You should see the amazing blades students design. It is definitely math. So I just want to make sure that David also gets his due recognition for leading this initiative in our district.
Okay, moving on. We're going to have the CVUSD student trustee recognitions of our three great student trustees. Dr. Williams?
All right. Good evening, Board President, Mr. Acuna, Vice President, Ms. Vargas, Board Trustees, and Executive Cabinet. Good night. Good evening. We're just starting our night. We're already ready to turn out the lights. Sorry about that. We have the honor tonight to honor our three trustees. This is our third year as Board Trustees. Mr. Galarza was the first one to kind of start that process and that thought process of bringing up our students and raising them up to be leaders. We continue to enjoy the leadership and the growth over the year. So we're going to hear from them tonight for a couple minutes, and they're going to talk a little bit about what this board, as being a student trustee, what has meant to them. So we're going to start off with CV High School, Lynette Bautista. Come on up.
Hello, my name is Lynette Bautista. I have been student trustee for this year. I'd just like to say a big thank you. I think this opportunity of being a student trustee has really helped me develop more skills within public speaking or seeing different opinions and being open-minded to different aspects of different topics. I think being student trustee is a great opportunity for kids to show off their leadership skills, along with just being able to connect with students from different varieties of groups. Within the opportunity that I've had of being student trustee, I've got the chance to talk to different groups, whether it's academies, clubs, or students that I've never talked to before. So it was a great opportunity to talk to different students, make new friends, and see different faces than my little friend group that I make at school. So it is a great thing to be a part of the cabinet and be a part of student trustee. So it is nice to get the opportunity, and I'm glad that I was able to do the position this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynette. Next, from Desert Mirage High School, we have Barbara Hernandez.
Hello, I'm Barbara Hernandez. I've been serving alongside with you guys for the past couple months, and I want to start off by saying that I am very thankful for the opportunity that we were granted along with other students, but to have been selected, us three, to be in partnership with you all in being able to oversee and aid you as to how we perceive as students our campus and how you perceive that we need help. So it's been an exchange of how can we help you, how can you help us? I'm very thankful for that opportunity. It has been beautiful to have a different perspective of leadership because it's not the same as having a role on campus as to being able to come outside of campus and be positioned elsewhere where we can get introspection as to what is really going on, what is really the processes that you all have to go through for things to get done on our end. So it was very beautiful to be able to express your end to my peers as well, because a lot of times there's a disconnect between the superiors, could we put it that way, and us who are being governed. And they think, well, they're just doing it.
Administration.
Administration, okay, with administration and us who are being administered. So we find ourselves often being like, well, what is going on? Why can't this be done a certain way? And it's comforting to be able to give my peers answers as to, they're like, well, why is this being done this way? And it's like, actually, this is what's actually going on behind the scenes. It's not that they are hoping for us to do our worst. That's the complete opposite. They're looking for our best. And I'm very thankful to be able to have been given the opportunity to enhance the skills that I came in with, and that I know I am leaving with great help from you guys. And my communication, I think, has been a lot better than the first time I stood here. And I'm really excited to see where this is going to take me, and who knows, maybe sometime I'll come back.
Awesome.
Great job, great job.
Thank you, Barbara. Awesome. And representing our West Shores Wildcats, Jennifer Sarabia. Come on up.
Good evening, board trustees and people of the community. I would like to thank you all for this great opportunity I have been given. As the year has progressed, I have come to the realization my communication skills have greatly improved. At the beginning, I was a stuttering mess, but now I could actually form a sentence in front of everybody, and I've actually been well connected this year with my peers, with my community. Compared to last year, where I would just go class to class and talk to friends, I have actually been able to be more involved and provide more opportunities for my classmates, for the students at my school, being able to know what's going on and realizing that it's not that you guys don't want to do it, but more like there are limits to everything that can be done. There's always going to be limits, and we just have to work and do the best out of what we've done. We have raised the numbers of participation, of involvement in our school, and I've loved this experience. It has really opened my eyes, and it really made me want to try more, to see where I could go, where I could head. And I would like to give a special thank you to Ms. Mejorado, the principal at my school, Dr. DeFeo, for all of their support, as well as the fellow trustees, Lynette and Barbara, for being able to be there, for experiencing this with me. It has all been great and amazing. And I hope the next year's trustees will be able to be amazing at their job, communicate, and bring much more opportunities to their schools. Thank you.
Fantastic. Let's come on down and take a picture. You'll read it? Okay.
Just hang on that for a second. You want to hold this for a second? We'll give it to them. I just got to read that thing. We have a few things for you guys to hand out to you guys. But I'm old and I need my glasses. So we're going to just take them as I got them. So here it reads, honoring Student Board Trustee Jennifer Sarabia in recognition and appreciation of your service, leadership, and commitment to our district. Thank you. You have been an inspiration to us all. Coachella Valley Unified School District Board of Trustees and Administration 2024. This is for you. And we have some goodies for you as well.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All righty. Next, honoring School Board Trustee Barbara Hernandez. In recognition and appreciation of your service, leadership, and commitment to our district, thank you. You have been an inspiration to us all. Coachella Valley Unified School District Board of Trustees and Administration, June 2024. Congratulations. We have some lovely parting gifts for you. Okay, and then who has the last one? And then, last but not least, but you're still gonna be with us for another year, not here, but with us in the district for another year. Honoring student trustee Lynette Batista in recognition and appreciation of your service, leadership, and commitment to our district. Thank you. You have been an inspiration to us all. Coachella Valley Unified School District Board of Trustees and Administration 2024. Congratulations. And again, I would say parting gifts, but you're not a senior, so you're going to be around for a while, so that's for next year. And then we also have from Sun Community Trust, Credit Union, I'm sorry. We are going to be, they actually have some presentation for the three of you as well. Those are full of money. Yeah. And I want to let her say a few words really quick.
Oh, thank you. Cynthia Reyes, Sun Community Credit Union. It's an honor to be here and more than anything, be able to be here and celebrate your success as leaders, as future leaders, and the sky's the limit. And allow this platform to inspire you to continue to grow. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it would only be appropriate to honor, obviously, the students here, but also the mastermind, Mr. Galarza. Okay. It was his idea and his imagination, and here it manifested, right? So if you could please. Yeah.
I just did it, but that's okay. No, I was actually going to thank the students from our behalf. The only regret I have is that I'm not at the corner with you guys anymore. They made me move, and Adonis got my seat. But I did want to remind everyone and acknowledge who actually brought this, and not only brought it because we had talked about it for a while, but actually brought it and pushed it and made sure that this was a reality, and that was board member Adonis Galarza Toledo here. We started slow the first year, half the year with only one, and then we got the 3 last year, and then now this year. And again, all I can say is over the years, the 3 years that we've had it, become more engaged as you've gotten comfortable with it. Now people, when they're coming to the position, understand a little better. At first they got here and like, what are we supposed to do? But I think we've seen with this class especially that how it can work when you really engage and really communicate to us. And when we ask you on an agenda item and you say, I want to say something, that's how it's supposed to work. So thank you all, and I think they're going to make their student reports right now. And then on the board, after that, any board member wants to share some comments as well, we'll allow the board to say that. But on behalf of the district and the board, we want to thank you very much for all your support. And a shout out to those people who bring you your rides sometimes that coming back. I know they're sitting out there. You got to wave, give them a round of applause for always being supportive of these students. Thank you very much. Huh? Yeah, everybody move that way. So we'll go ahead and start your board reports, and we'll go ahead and start with CV High School.
Sorry, I'm pulling it up now. Okay, so this is gonna be about transportation in my school. So we had a meeting with transportation They were supposed to come to our school and talk to us about anything that we had comments on, questions on, or anything, any ideas we had to improve it. They didn't show up, so we weren't able to express those ideas, but I was able to meet with a group of ambassadors and jot down some comments, concerns, questions. So I kind of just want to go over that. Some of the concerns that we have a lot of the time is the consistency of being late. And when you think of consistency, don't just think like in the morning and after school. So think of field trips too. So a lot of the times when we have different field trips, we go on different places. You schedule things so that at 9 o'clock we need to be here, but if our bus is pushing us an hour late, now we don't get the experience we're supposed to when we go on a trip. So it's just consistency of tutoring, ACEs, or after school and morning. So, and with this, we also thought that if we improve the consistency of the buses coming on time and showing up when they're supposed to be, and I know there's problems between transportation right now with buses and bus drivers, but I think we need to figure out a system that we can improve this, because the more our buses are late, our students are late, and this also leads to our budget cuts that affects the students more than it does the teachers, because the students are the ones that are also suffering that penalty. So they also mentioned how certain groups of kids won't be able to do what they did last year. So we had a student, Eric Peña, shared to us that band might not be able to have field show next year due to these budget cuts. And not only because of budget cuts, there was a time where they had a very important CIF show they had to go to, and there was a miscommunication somehow that the bus never showed up. So they were never allowed or given the opportunity to show up when they were supposed to. We thought something we can do to improve this is just set up like a remind. So in school, we have a remind that lets us know there's an officer on campus, there's medical assistants on campus. So if we can have a remind just saying, La Paz bus is gonna be 10 minutes late, expect the bus around 6:40, because sometimes you expect the bus to be late like it is every day, and you get there the time you think it usually will be, and it either came too early or it's coming later. And there's a lot of students that don't have that transportation to go back home and get a ride to the school. I'm just gonna read a couple questions that we had. Some questions were, why do newer buses get used less than the older buses? This was because we feel that at our school, we see a lot of the older buses get used more. So when there's rains or anything like that, there's rain coming through the roof, or there's loose screws where the emergency exits are. So, and then you go on special trips, and there's newer buses being used and nice quality buses than when it's our everyday thing. And we feel as though if we're the students, we should be getting the quality buses that we deserve. They want to know how the elementary school is being affected by this, and if it is getting affected by this, because personally, I know my bus picks me up, and once it drops off the kids at CV, it goes back and picks up Mount Vista. So I want to know if maybe after school, if it's the same domino effect, if because high schoolers are getting pushed back, if it's the same thing with elementary school. And then the conditions now, so it's either really cold in the morning and we have kids standing out there really bright and early, or really dark when it's that time where it changes time, or it's really hot outside and we have kids waiting out there. And yes, at school, we have water fountains, but there's not that many kids that would drink water fountain, like water, or there's different issues, different kids. But it's just that concern of it's hot outside and we have kids waiting there for buses for a very long time. Another thing was I just wanted to share like a spotlight on DDP, because I did get to see good engagement with students and staff. They recently did a dunk tank with Miss Young at her school and a couple of the teachers, and it was nice to see the students, even though it was like them getting splashed, it was nice to see that the students were engaging a lot more with the staff. So it was nice to see that from our admin team. That'll be all. Thank you.
Hello again. Okay, I will start off with Desert Mirage. For their counseling, counseling has been holding study groups with the migrant ELL students in the 11th grade to improve success rates in their upcoming senior year. They have been discussing subjects such as cultural awareness, career pathway and orientation, time management, test-taking skills. Counselors have also been holding lessons with the class of 2025 with preparation for senior year so that they're even more prepared for next year. They have been working closely with Dr. Nava from the Riverside County Office of Education on ramp application through the American School Counselor Association. They held Senior Award Night and Commitment Day, successfully completed to honor scholarships, awards, and college commitment for seniors between the dates of May 6th and May 7th. Class of 2025 juniors from ASB successfully held their prom themed 1920s casino. It was really nice. Juniors, seniors, and invited people were really happy. I think it was the best prom that we've had in the last couple of years. We had a DJ. There was like a mock gambling session. There was crepes for food. There was steak. We were really happy. CTE had 247 completers this year, 42 more than last year. A sash ceremony was held on May 14th, where all received their academy sashes for completion. This is a message from cosmetology. They would like to let you know that they will be open for dry bar appointments. If you like your hair done to look nice for an event or a board meeting, please make an appointment for 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Flyers for services offered with the cost and appointments are coming soon. Aviation has completed their second round of job shadowing at Desert Jet for a total of 10 students. As for La Familia, we have that with over 80 Justin's caps and gowns were ordered already in. They're looking at their largest graduating class yet. Summer school is also looking promising with almost 70 students already signed up, and they have more to come. Their students and families have also been given the opportunity to work with Dr. Victor Rios on May 30th. He will be celebrating students on track and graduating, and inspiring students and their students with their powerful message, compelling story, and encouraging support. I have a last comment. This is more of a Barbara opinion. For next year's student trustees, I understand that we focus on seniors and juniors, but I do think that I would, as a recommendation, speaking as a senior, I would say to really look into the juniors because they have more time disposed. Maybe it's arguably junior year is the hardest, but in reality, having gone through junior and senior year, I think that senior year is the heaviest mentally because you're preparing yourself for the upcoming college years. You're trying to file everything so that you're ready to set off. And I think that Jennifer, Lynette, and I have been working really very well, but I do think that as a junior, maybe there would have been more availability as in time to provide better quality as a student trustee. So I appreciate the opportunity to serve as a senior, but I would recommend to look more into the juniors next year. That's it. Thank you.
Hello. Oh. So for the West Shores report, on May 15, Avid seniors presented their senior portfolio symposiums to Avid families and students during Avid Family Night. On May 1st, ASB hosted an amazing and successful mini pep rally for the CVU visit, where sixth graders came to visit us, and we wanted to set their expectations really high for once they come for their seventh grade year. On May 7th, Linker hosted a successful movie day. They had free pizza, chips, candy, popcorns, and drink. The main objective for this movie day was to encourage students and to help them connect again with their Link leaders in order to help them keep up on their grades. We have seen improvement in Link crew in freshmen having their grades up, so we just want to provide more events to incite them to continue trying their best, as well as just setting the expectation really high for next year's Link crew. And a big shout out to a link leader, Nasli Contreras, for receiving the Rotary of Coachella Valley Scholarship. And a side comment that I wanted to add on was that there has been lots of news about WASC surrounding our school. It all started because ASB started to focus a lot on it towards the end of April and beginning of May. We learned a lot about the WASC report. We gave anything that we learned about to the students, and we are trying a lot. Just kind of a shout out to my school for trying a lot, for providing the best of clubs, classes, COD classes, just everything being provided to our school to be able to help improve our WASC report for next year. And I would greatly appreciate if next year's student trustee is given lots of support for the upcoming WASC report, any tips, and as well as just more support for our schools so we could improve a lot more on our WASC report. That would be amazing. That would be the end for the West Shores board report. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and let our board have some comments, and we'll start it with the mastermind over there in the sorry, Mr.
Thank you.
Board Member Toledo.
This is our report and comments?
just
Comments on them?
comments
Okay.
on them.
Awesome. First and foremost, I'm really proud of you three. Fills me with joy and pride to be able to witness the growth in your persona, in your leadership skills, and as students, right? When we first thought about this and when we first brought it up to our board, there was no hesitation about getting it done. We knew that it needed to be done. And it's important that we make sure that you all, our students, are at the center of this decision-making process, right? That your best interest is taken into consideration, right? And a lot of the times, us here, we think we know what we're doing, right? We want to know, we want to be sure that we know what we're doing, but sometimes we need that voice, that student voice, right? You're like you all said, you all are the ones that at the end get our services, right? You all are the main ones receiving our services. And we want to make sure that we are taking into account every kind of possible scenario when it comes down to how it's going to impact you guys, right? And I'm really proud of this group in particular, right? As President Acuna mentioned, it's been a slowly evolution program, right? This year, I'm really beyond proud to see the three of you show up to every board meeting, to be engaged, to challenge us, to vote, to make motions. That's the idea, right? And hopefully the next class supersedes what you all did, right? Because every year that's the point, right? That we're raising the bar, and then we're raising the bar until we can't raise the bar no more, right? But ultimately, very proud of you all. For the two of you all that are going to college, take this with you wherever you go. Wear it on your sleeve. Wear your community on your sleeve. And Lynette, for you that you're staying, we're lucky to have you another year. Don't be a stranger. Come by, visit us, public comment. Just because you're not here on the dais does not mean that you can't make a change or you can't make a difference. And for you in particular, right, being a former trustee, student trustee, when you come and you stand in that public forum, whatever you say, and board members that work with you will make sure to take that very seriously, because it's coming from I mean, we take all of our public comments serious. We take all of our public comments serious, but we recognize the face, we've worked with you, trust me, you will always have a spot in this dais, even though if it's not official. With that being said, congratulations, and I'll pass it on.
I completely agree. So proud of all of you. You are already leaders. You're just developing those skills further. You're so confident now. It shows as you address us. You addressed this entire board so many times. beautifully reported to us all. It was excellent to see. This really is us growing our bench, right? You're the future, and you are who we are serving. So that reminder, a very real reminder right next to us, is necessary. And you all took the helm, just like Mr. Galarza said. You made motions, you did all these things, right? And please tell your peers so that it's not so scary. They now see what's possible, and hopefully we get another diverse group that we have to make the really hard decision of choosing you all, but so important. I would have never thought to do this, and some of you had even come to meetings as a sophomore, right, and addressed the board. I had never even thought to do that as a high school student, so I applaud each of you for your efforts. I want to continue to see you, hear about you, stay in touch. Your community supports you. Thank you.
Yeah, just want to echo the thoughts of my colleagues. Just congratulations. Thank you for serving. Thank you for at times saying, wait, I have a comment or I have a concern, and sharing those concerns, because that's what's important, right? And so some of you that were here asking us the hard questions when you weren't trustees, and then you became a trustee, is very, very important, because that shows that we here listen, and we take everybody's voice into account. And even if we don't agree with you, we do respect your voice. So thank you, and keep coming, right? And if you have concerns, continue. And I wish you nothing but success in your future endeavors. Thank you to all three of you.
Board Member Paz.
Yeah, I also want to thank you, all three, for the time, the dedication that you gave to us, and for all the times that you went off the script to say, like, hey, this is really how it's impacting me, and giving us the student perspective. I mean, there's nothing like it. So lots of gratitude for everything that you did, and for the seniors, best of wishes. And well, Coachella Valley's always home.
Yeah, congratulations. When you get up there and you speak, what's really obvious to me is that you have parents that love you, right? You've had those teachers that have touched you, that have given you the confidence, to show up and do what you do, because it's not normal to come with that kind of confidence. And obviously, as it's been already said, you guys have grown incrementally, so hats off to the teachers that have made a difference in your life, and the hard work your parents have put into you, right? I think for me, I can only tell you at my age that life happens very, very quickly, right? When I was your age, I was the same type of activist who believed that we could create a better community. And you take on challenges even when you're reminded that you're fighting a big institution like we are, right? And things move slower than we want them to. But the fact that you had the opportunity to sit up here and convey a message, right? A message not only from you, but your cohort, right? The students that told you what to bring here, whether it was the results of a sporting event or an accomplishment of the school, or your personal story and things that were important to you. Know that this is the beginning of a long journey. And I think I think what's really important is that you understand as you go forward that a lot of things that you're going to see a lot of injustice around you. And it's more important that when you have those experiences that you stand to defend that, right? Because it's even more important when you watch something happen, because you could be the next it happens to. And so keep doing what you're doing. I'd like to know where you're going to school, the two that are going to college. You guys want to share that with us? Have you decided? Have you committed? Where are you going to school?
I will be attending UC San Diego for fall of 2024.
Nice, very nice.
I'm doing UC Berkeley for civil engineering.
Nice. And your cohort is doing CV High School one more year. No, just congratulations. Great work, and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, everything's been said. You know, I highly commend you all. I mean, I feel like your voice is really powerful right in this space. I think as a young adult myself at one point, I don't think I could have ever like stood in front of a, you know, like a public forum and be able to speak on very important issues, right? Like today's board reports is, I think, exemplifies like your leadership, right? Like you touched on the issues of transportation, like, you know, recommendations to improve this this role, right? The WASP report, right? Like I wasn't thinking about that when I was a high school student. So, you know, really take the comments to heart. Wrote down a couple things that really kind of stood out, you know, for me during your report. You know, like really advocating for you all to get the quality experience that you deserve, right, as students in our community. And I really will take that, you know, with me, you know, the following year as I'm here. So yeah, I'm just really proud of you all, and I know that you'll make us proud in your, you know, next steps, whether it be your senior year or first year of college. We're really excited for, you know, whatever your journey takes you, and we know that you'll be making some change in the community. So thank you all for your work. Yeah.
Well, again, congratulations to the three of you, the two of you that are going on to college. Good luck. Don't forget us. Visit every once in a while, or come back and take our jobs. That's always a good thing too. Now that you already know how the experience. Just on a personal note, I think some of the things that they were saying is very important. We have our views, we get staff's views, we get your parents' views, but at the end of the day, it's always important to have your views because they are different. Sometimes immeasurably different, because you are looking at it from a, and I don't want to say selfish, but as it should be, a selfish perspective of how it affects you. And that, at the end of the day, other people, how does it affect them? How does it affect your parents? How does it? So we get a lot of different opinions, and it's always important. And, you know, I've been on the board for a while, and sometimes you're on the 7-0 vote, and sometimes you're the 1 on the 6-1 vote. It's okay as long as you, whatever you believe in, you stand up for that. And, you know, as Board Member Gonzalez said, you know, stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. That's always important. I happen to know when he was in school that is how he did. I was not that student. I wanted to get in, I wanted to get out. But it is important because later on in life, you see how you could have said something and you didn't. And sometimes, not necessarily that's a regret, but it's kind of a, wow, that could have been me, that could have been one of my siblings, that could have been someone I know. And so it's always important. And again, I respect the fact that you come up here and say what you feel, even though other people might kind of go, you know, why are they saying that? As long as you're telling the truth, as long as you're fighting for yourself and for your fellow students, don't ever back down. Don't be afraid of the criticisms, and there'll always be that. Trust me, in life, you're always going to have criticisms. But, you know, stand to what you're true to. Don't forget your neighborhood. Always important. Don't forget your neighborhood. Be proud of where you came from, but understand that you guys are all going somewhere as well, and be proud of that as well. So once again, thank the three of you. Congratulations, and have a good summer after you get out. We'll see you two in a couple of weeks. So I know some of you might have to leave, so if you guys want to go. Oh.
No, I just like to make a quick comment. I just like to say, even though I might not be student trustee next year, you will still hear from me, because I know all the students in my school that even if I've never seen their faces before, they come up to me and say, hey, this is a problem I'm seeing. So you'll definitely be seeing me up here, reports up here. So I'll still be here.
Hey, the last time I checked, I don't know if there's a term limit on being a student trustee. I think you could run again.
We would be disappointed if you didn't. Thank you. All right. I know some of you need to leave, so congratulations again, and let's go back to our board meeting. All right. Moving on, item 3.1, closed session public comments. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the governing board regarding any closed session item with the board's subject matter jurisdiction. Please complete a request to address the governing board form and hand it to the recording secretary. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes per person and a maximum of 20 minutes per subject matter. And I do have, oh, here there. I do have two. They're from the same person. So through point one, Carissa Carrera.
There we go. Okay. Good evening. This is regarding 3.1, which is a little odd, closed session, public comments. Carissa Carrera, by the way, on behalf of CVTA. CVTA was notified that at the special board meeting last week, 2 teachers from CVU submitted public comments using the online link, and neither of those comments was read aloud. Additionally, neither of them was shared as written communications. I previously spoke about the link having been removed, and I am glad to see that it's returned. However, there is no difference if you do not plan to read the comments aloud. You are continuing to silence voices. Thank you. Okay, and then item 3.12, public employee appointment. We still do not have an interim superintendent. Jesus Gonzalez today referred to our superintendent multiple times during the facilities committee meeting. Who is that? If you are considering appointing one, CVTA would ask that you select someone who knows how to build relationships, can lead by example, utilizes inclusionary practices, exhibits trustworthiness, has an open door policy, and one who knows how to bring out the best in people. Someone who leads by creating fear, is dishonest, and who regularly excludes people should not be considered. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to go into closed session?
I'll motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We will be back. We were going to be back at what time?
7:30? 7:30.
Might be a little bit longer than that, just because our other part took a little longer, but we'll let you know if we're going to be late. All right, we're going to go get back started. We had a motion and a second. They carried 7-0 to return into open session. I'm going to announce the board took the following action in closed session. Approved expulsion case number 2324-15 for stipulated expulsion. Motion was made by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Mr. Galarza. Motion carried 7-0. The following action in the board took the following action in closed session. Approved expulsion case number 2324-016 for stipulated expulsion. Motion was made by Board Member Arredondo, seconded by Board Member Galarza. Motion carried 7-0. The board took final action, vote to approve settlement for EEOC claim grievance filed under Age Discrimination Act by employee ID number 2024-11-547 at Desert Mirage High School. Motion made by Board Member Gonzalez, second by Board Member Galarza. Motion carried 7-0. The board took action during closed session to approve the settlement agreement regarding claim number 002024 v. CVUSD incident dated February 28, 2024, in the amount of $4,500 effective May 16th, 2024, on this 16th day of May 2024. Motion was made by Board Member Gonzalez, seconded by Board Member Galarza. Motion carried 7-0. That was the action taken in closed session. I am going to pull item 9.3. That wasn't supposed to be until the following board meeting. It just got accidentally put on by mistake. So may I have a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. So that one's done. Board notification, request to address the board. Public comments, open session, introductory comments, and requests to address the board on items on the adopted agenda and items not on the adopted agenda will be considered from the audience at this time. Please complete a request to address the governing board forum and hand it into the recording secretary. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes per person with a maximum of 20 minutes each. Subject matter. Additionally, the person making the request should state his or her name and the name of the organization or group represented. Please be advised that the board is not always at liberty to answer questions right away. State law prohibits the board from taking any action on items not listed on the agenda. So let's move on to Maria Nunez. You have 3 of them, correct? I have 3 items. Okay, well, you have 6 minutes then.
Good evening, Ms. Nunez. I'm special ed teacher I've been in the district now for 29 years. I wanted to let you know that I was canceled from attending a very important and necessary conference, in my professional opinion, that would help me and the SACE person learn new and upcoming changes to the special ed student system that would be held in Anaheim during the month of October for probably less than $5,000, because it was decided that no one was to attend conferences during the 24-25 school year. So I did. Then I read the board agenda, and I saw that the board is set to approve a ton of people going out of state to attend an inauguration for over $150,000. How can the district justify spending taxpayer monies on political venues? I was told to cancel my conference registration because the district has no money, yet HR is submitting how many new chief positions, while 59 boots on the field were laid off because we have no money? Why are all these people going to get coordinating pay when they can continue at current classified pay? The district has no money. That keeps getting told to us every minute, yet we keep hiring highly paid individuals. The way we keep hiring highly paid individuals, and no one believes that we are in dire straits. I was told to cancel my conference because no one is conferencing in 24-25, yet I see a ton of people registered for the AVID 2024. Even though I heard that summer conferences are considered part of the 23-24 school year, who are we kidding here? If all the reimbursements for these conferences are going to be coming out of the 24-25 school year. If people don't want me attending conferences, then they just need to let me know, don't attend conferences, instead of saying there's no money. I've been discriminated against before, and it won't be the last time. Now, on the second one, this agenda to me, in my professional opinion, is full of contradictions. Classified management is getting a 2-step increase in pay because the same red words were added to a job description. Mind you, the same words were added over and over, in my opinion, only to make the job description longer. More words don't merit an increase in pay, especially during a time when the district is said to be low in funds. Then I find out that longtime classified employees fail to get reclassified even when they prove that they are completing tasks outside of the scope of their job description. How can that be justified? Remember, the directors only coordinate or direct. They don't do the work. Was that 3 minutes or 6?
2 minutes left.
In that same contradicting language, newly hired classified employees are allowed to work out of class in a position that has only one single person in it, and the person who is working out of class is working that same position. There's only one person, the person is working. Adding insult to injury, said new people get back pay at the higher rate from the date that they were hired, even when they're not doing the work they're getting paid out of class to do. As far as I can recall, and again, I've been here 29 years, the proper reclass procedure is to wait a year after you're hired to attempt a reclass. This didn't happen here, and not even a month passed before these people were refusing to do work outside of their job description. The failure to perform stated duties should have provided sufficient reasons to abort the tenureship of said individuals. I definitely need to know whom that person is related to so that all these other people who are being negated a reclass can get adopted by that family so they can partake of the same privileges. Many times before, I have mentioned how dysfunctional a district we are, but it seems that no one is interested in correcting the wrongs. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary Soto?
Good evening, Board President Cunha, board members, Dr. Esparza, Executive Cabinet, and audience members. My name is Gary D. Soto. I am the founder and CEO of Gary D. Soto Consulting, and I'm here to thank you for approving my professional development contract to support the Coachella schools this coming academic year. I am originally from Laverne. I'm the youngest son of 7. My parents, the focus of our family was education, and I am following exactly what my parents envisioned me to lead my life. I am a former instructional aide, classified. I am a former kindergarten teacher, former first grade teacher, former third grade teacher, former fourth grade teacher, former fifth grade teacher, former sixth grade teacher, former elementary principal, former secondary principal. It was at my secondary school as a principal that I was able to lead a team to significantly improve the academic results of my students, predominantly English language learners. I was honored with a National Educator Award for reshaping American education, and I began speaking nationally on reform of public schools. I opened a staff development company in 1997, and since then I've been coaching superintendents from all over across the nation, and also their cabinet members and principals. I've worked with districts as large as Los Angeles Unified, New York Public Schools, Fort Worth, Phoenix, Sacramento City, many school districts. I am going on my 50th year in education. The scope of the work we will be doing in Coachella involves evidence-based actions that, if implemented well, will significantly improve the learning results of our students here. The students are ready to learn to read. They are ready to read to learn. We have a lot of new information since the year 2000. It's coming from brain research. Brain research includes a tool called MSI, where students, like if you had an EKG hooked up to your chest, this one supports your brain in the learning. I will just end by saying we're using that research to make a difference with your students here in our schools. I commend the leadership of Dr. Esparza. I work with hundreds of leaders across the nation, and I greatly appreciate the guidance and the tenacity of making a difference for Coachella schools. I am thrilled, finally, to work in the area I live in. Thank you.
Carissa Carrera, CVTA. You have 8 items. You have 24 minutes.
Just like last time, they're relatively short. So again, Carissa Carrera for CVTA. My first item is 5.1, which is the one we're in now, open session public comments. As the elected president of CVTA, I would like to provide clarity about the comments that I make both at these board meetings and during board committee meetings. I stand here to speak on behalf of the majority of our 950 CVTA members. I realize that some of our members are your family and friends, and likely they do not agree with many of the comments, and I understand that. However, as a board, you tend to respond to the comments as if I am speaking to my own personal concerns. Rest assured that I am not. I myself have a board which I consult before any action I take. I also have a representative council which directs the work of the board. I ask that if you choose to comment on any of my public comments, you acknowledge that they are CVTA's comments, not Carissa Carrera's. And the next item is 7.2, the LCAP update. CVTA is concerned about the fact that this agenda item states, and I'm quoting, "One of the goals of the educational services team was to increase engagement with the LCAP." We are unsure how this has been achieved. No one has been asked what they would like to see in this new LCAP. Yes, a survey was provided to parents, students, and staff, and the percentage of participation was great, no doubt about that. But that survey was more reflective of a climate survey. Not one single question asked any of those people what they thought should be prioritized in the LCAP. We believe someone in Ed Services has made all of those decisions. With that being said, the presentation tonight shows only 4 goals, while 5 goals were presented on Tuesday at the LCAP meeting. The discrepancy is a concern to us. Other concerns are specifically related to Goal 4, professional learning. On the surface, the actions listed appear to be specific to the transformational model, summer trainings, and contracts for groups to come in and do this work. What is missing is anything related to best first instruction, specifically subject matter competency. If CVTA had been asked to suggest priorities for the LCAP, that is something we would have suggested. With our constant turnover of teachers, we have a lot of people who have never been trained in their required curriculum, not to mention long-standing teachers who have never been trained in their current curriculum. Additionally, there are some concerns related to other items in the LCAP which may violate collective bargaining language. I will be available to discuss CVTA priorities if there is anyone interested in real engagement with our stakeholder group. Item 8.1, Conflict of Interest Code. This is an interesting resolution and is definitely, for our board, a necessary one. I have never seen anything like this on an agenda before, but I'm glad that it's there. CVTA does have concerns about known conflicts of interest, which we hope will be disclosed appropriately. I'm going to share some examples. Jesus Gonzalez owns a local dispensary, yet participates in decision-making around drug-related expulsions. Family members own Desert Concepts, yet he chairs the facilities committee which approves bid for projects, most of them going to Desert Concepts. Has a spouse and several family members employed in the district, yet participates in votes related to salaries. All things he should be recusing himself from. Sylvia Paz has a spouse employed in the district, yet participates in votes related to salaries. Is the executive director of Alianza, yet participates in discussions and votes related to the contracts offered to them. Jocelyn Vargas is employed at COD, where B. Gonzalez is a board member and essentially her boss, yet participates in discussions and votes related to B. Gonzalez as an employee here in CVUSD. Joey has a son employed, I think he's CSEA, I'm not sure, should be recusing himself from any discussions related to salaries. The other 3 on this side over here, I'm not aware of any concerns similar to those. So when I find them, I will share them, but I don't know of any. Item 9.4, approval of purchase orders for EXLP, ESSER 3, and ELOP programs. I hope that you take the time to consider these expenditures. More than $8 million was approved last year, but they weren't purchased. Don't you approve expenditures expecting them to actually be followed through on? Why weren't they purchased last year? Was the money really intended to be used for those items? And who is responsible for the oversight of that? Many of these items being added tonight are not even related to items students will use. $20,000 for Avery labels. I did the math. That's 1.8 million labels, and I don't know who could possibly be using 1.8 million labels. Are items being purchased for the entire district? I could go on about the thousands of dollars for other items that are not going to be used by students, but it's all there in front of you. Are you as board members being fiscally prudent or just desperately spending the money before it has to be returned? Item 10.1, 2023-24 fiscal third interim report. Just a reminder that we did question the budget at the beginning of a budget of more than $40 million in books and supplies when this first came out. We are about 3 months out from the end of the fiscal year, and there has only been about 11 million spent or encumbered. As stated in previous comments, this district has never spent more than $16 million on this line item. It appears that you have about $29 million sitting there for some reason. Again, are you being fiscally prudent in asking these questions? Showing deficit spending when you have tens of millions that haven't been touched yet should concern you. Item 11.3, new updated Ed Services job descriptions for the 24-25 year. These are very odd job descriptions. Have you seen a plan for the restructuring of Ed Services, or have you just given free rein to the assistant superintendent? 2 of the director job descriptions require 5 years of teaching experience. 1 of them requires 4 years of teaching experience. Some of the positions require degrees, some allow for equivalent experience. Why is there discrepancy in these job descriptions? And what exactly does it mean for someone to be insurable? Nearly all of them have MTSS in the title and require the person to implement the MTSS plan. Is there actually a plan? CVTA is going to be on these interview panels for these positions, but being unaware of any MTSS plan at all in this district, how will we determine if a candidate is qualified to implement that plan? Please make decisions tonight that will benefit the work we do here when considering approval of these job descriptions. Item 11.4, I'm going to disagree with my colleague Maria, who left. These salary increases are necessary. We all know that. Some positions were left out of previous restructuring and salary increases. They deserve to be made equal to the other management staff. Additionally, we know the salary increase for school site management is necessary. Whenever CVTA negotiates a raise, both CSEA and management get the same raise. For months, they have been underpaid compared to some of the teachers at their own school sites. With all the dysfunction that takes place on our school board and in our district this year, people need to be properly compensated if we expect to retain them. The only concern I have relates to the timing of these raises, doing this at the same time that you laid off teachers. Those are not good optics for our district. And finally, item 16.1, Certificated Human Resources Personnel Report. Part 8, number 3 and number 4 have the wrong lead stipends for approval. These amounts were increased in the last round of negotiations and therefore should be reflected in these reports. This is something that has already been brought up both to HR and to personnel, or not to payroll. This is not the first issue that we have had regarding these recently negotiated amounts for these positions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on. Back to where we were. Okay, do we have any written communications? I don't see any. Board member reports, board requests for future board meetings. Let's start with Mr. Arredondo. Just because you told me not to start with you, that's why I'm going to start with you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for those that are on Zoom. It's good to be here. Been very busy. I got to attend Victor Rios's training for LAFA students, or not the training, but actual. I mean, I wouldn't call it a training, but I'd call it like a student engagement. So I thank you, Dr. Rios, for bringing it to La Familia. I know that other sites would benefit from having Dr. Rios come and tell his story, talk about his life, but also get the students to reflect on their lives. And I think that was important for a lot of the students from La Familia. But I do want to share an interesting story that I had students from La Familia ask me that they wanted Victor Rios to meet the mentors from our wellness centers. And so I thought that was interesting because they asked me if I could host a meeting with all of them and bring them together. And I thought that was interesting because our students are really using our wellness centers, and I think that's important. I got to attend with my colleagues the Nova Academy. They had a senior sort of notebook interview, exit interview, and it was great. Thank you for Nova Academy for inviting. I got to attend a little bit of the LCAP meeting that was held here with parents. I'd like to see more engagement, and I hope that on the May 28th we see more parent engagement, come out and share some of the things. I was here late, so I'm not gonna thank you for all the staff that was here, but I'd like to definitely hear more from the parents. I got to visit Palmview to see and walk around the school. There's a lot of energy there at Palmview, so it was good to walk around and just visit the classrooms, and it was good to be there. I'd like to just thank my Rotary Club. I'm a member of Coachella Valley Rotary Club, and we just gave out $14,000 in scholarships to seniors from Desert Mirage High School, Coachella Valley High School, West Shores High School, Nova, and La Familia High School. So I think I'd just like to say congratulations to all the students who were awarded scholarships, and we'll continue doing that. I got to attend the Joven Noble training that was attended by staff. I think it's great that our staff, especially our principals and assistant principals, are attending trainings, although I know that taking them out of their daily routine and their schools is sort of impacting also the schools. So I got to, but good for them. And then the last thing was I got to attend the mental health awareness session that CWA had here, and they had all the wellness centers and wellness center staff sharing sort of their mental health practices or their teachings that they work with our students. And so thank you for all the staff that are doing a lot of the work. Thank you for everyone that's here, that's doing the work. It's definitely things that we need to do things a little bit better in our district. We do, and I'll be the first to acknowledge that there are things that we need to do better, but we need to do them better together. And we need to make sure that we continue to work together for our students. Everything that we do should be centered around our students and bettering our families here in Coachella and the Eastern Riverside County. So thank you for everything that you guys do. We got to get better, and we got to do things a little bit better. So thank you, Mr. President. That's it.
Mr. Acuna, I have no report. I do want to, of the $14,000, Mr. Arredondo, I tell your colleagues, your cohort at Rotary that I'm very appreciative of the $1,000 that they gave to my daughter yesterday, who worked hard and was this year's valedictorian at CV High School, and I'm very proud of her. And so that $1,000 is going to be well spent either at Stanford, Berkeley, or UCLA School of Engineering, and we'll know soon where she decides. And we're very appreciative of the help, and hopefully those $1,000 checks keep coming every year. No, I'm just kidding. Very, very, very thankful. Thank you so much. That's all I got.
No report. I have a really bad headache.
Okay. So winding down the school year, I'm sure it's bittersweet for all of our educators and staff. We have our students who are leaving us, hopefully for bigger and better things, and then the littles who are just continuing along their journey with us. I hope our staff finds the time to get some rest. I know there's so much that happens during the summer, and we're so grateful for all of our employees who help us do the work that needs to happen when everyone is gone, right? I would like to request the data behind the LCAP for the listed goals, specifically where stakeholder input is reflected in notes and surveys. I remember last year that was definitely something I saw with all of the meetings, is it wasn't really input-based. It was the district listing out what was, and anytime stakeholders were making mention of things, even in real time, the people taking notes would modify and kind of leave out things that they thought board members wouldn't be okay with, and I would make note of that when that was happening. So I want to know how that went this time around, right? Because it is supposed to be all stakeholders, employees, the community, very important, our students, and survey wouldn't be enough as far as that goes. So just more information on where that's reflected. I do see the presentation, but where it's reflected, where that would be notes, if part of that's the survey, how much of it is the survey versus anything else, just so that we're aware. There are other districts who do a beautiful job with an academy, so they teach the parents what is expected of them for the LCAP, so that they can bring meaningful participation, because it is a new language for them, but really love to see that. Yeah, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'll keep it short. Had the opportunity to join briefly I think it was CBHS, CB High School Senior Award Ceremony. It was really nice to see, students being recognized for their achievements, and it was really nice to see their families, and I really appreciated the effort to put that on. Had the opportunity to join the Head Start Policy Committee as well as our Budget Committee, and also had the opportunity to join the LCAP presentation this past, I think was it Tuesday? So it was helpful to look at a little bit more in depth the LCAP, and just, hear from parents and some of the other stakeholders who were present during the presentation. So I'm really looking forward to our conversations once we get to it, the LCAP. Yeah, just looking to see, how we can be critical and really rethink how we're gonna do our LCAP. Ensuring that we are engaging everyone, all the stakeholders, and that it is, addressing the needs of our students. So I do also would like to see some of the data supporting the strategies, but I'll keep some of my comments too when we get to the item. With respect to the comment around conflict of interest, I mean, the last thing I would want is to be seen impartial or somehow biased, so definitely looking at, some advice from our legal counsel. So, but I appreciate, holding us accountable and ensuring that we're being transparent. So thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you.
Mr. Acuna, if I may, I'd be remiss not to recognize the work that our current superintendent is doing by inviting personalities like Victor Rios, Gary Soto, Debbie Deal, who are experts in the fields ranging from finance all the way to making sure that our children are performing at maximum potential. And I say that because as we sit here on the dais, it's important to stir away from the petty politics that seem to be prevalent, and that we remind ourselves of why we're here, to stay focused on the education of our children so that every child has an opportunity to learn to their maximum potential. And we have to be reminded that the ones that need the most attention are the ones that have been most ignored. And I think if we continue to do that as a board under the current leadership, we're going to become a better school district. And I just want to thank the work of Dr. Esparza, our superintendent.
Thank you. I attended many of the events that some of my colleagues attended. They were very nice. Regardless of what you hear in the media or what you hear in comments, our kids are doing really well. A lot of our kids are doing very well. And a lot of our schools are doing well. We need help in others and we need support in others, but there's a lot of good things happening in our district that never get reported. So thanks to that. I also wanted to mention that I did attend the drumline and the cheer tournament that was held the other day, it was amazing how many parents were there. We had to fill up the gym, and then we had to empty it out and bring in the next group, and empty them out and bring in the next group. And, you know, other than it was a little hot, the parents were all great. They all understood, and it was a great thing to see parents out there. You know, nobody was asking about other stuff. They're all asking, get excited about graduations and the progress that their kids are making, and you know, other than that. So it's good to, when you actually talk to parents, you know, in those kinds of things, when they have an opportunity to chat with you, and they kind of, you know, they'll share their concerns with you, and they're always concerns, but they also talk about the good things, and that was definitely one of the good things. And again, I had, in all my time doing, either working here or attending with my son when he was here, going through the school system, and then, you know, as a board member, I don't think I've ever seen that many people at one tournament like that. It was an amazing, and again, it wasn't just they were all there for one, they were coming in waves, 3 different waves, and it was just incredible. And the support of the parents, I just wanted to, you know, shout out to our director and the team, and the parents that were there. It was an amazing thing. And again, I also, like I said, I went to some of the other events as well. So I did want to address something I don't normally do, but I will address it because they asked us to address it. So I will respond to the views of the union as presented by the board or their president. Is that correct? The views of the union. You said you weren't aware of the other ones, so I will make you aware. Board Member Arredondo, Board Member Galarza, both have family members that work in the district. For years, they were here before we were here, and they're probably, some of them will stay here before we're gone. So, you know, but that's one. Board Member Garcia actually works for the Coachella Valley, or for the California Teachers Association, which, you know, or have you or changed your job? No. So again, early on, we were told it wasn't a conflict, so it's not a conflict. But if I go out to the community and say that the person that works for the thing works for the union, and do you think she should be able to vote? They'll probably say no, because they'll think it's a conflict, but it's not. It's not a conflict. The fact that my son works here, you know, I don't know. Do you want none of us to vote and allow the unions to vote and decide the salaries? Maybe that's the point. I just, again, and I don't normally respond, but because you asked and you made the thing and you admitted some, yes, we all have family members. Teachers have family members here. Directors, people all have family members here. Because that's the kind of community we are. We ask our kids to go out, to get educated, and then come back. But the moment they come back and you don't like something they did, suddenly here we are. Oh, must be a conflict, you know? I've known Desert Concepts long before they became a member of Mr. Gonzalez's family, by marriage, not even related, but by marriage. I know them personally. Never ever accused me of that. We go through a process, they come out. Mr. Arredondo has been through the process. He's questioned it before. And obviously he, you know, we get the lowest bid, and that's what we do. We don't change it. But again, it makes a nice headline. It'll make a nice political attack ad in November, but the insinuation that somehow we can't be trusted because family members or people we know, or the fact that Ms. Vargas, who always asks, by the way, is this a conflict because I work for COD, always asks that, you know, but, you know, that wasn't taken into consideration. So again, I would like to respond to the union membership that when you say things like that, your representative comes to say things like that, normally I just let them go by, but now you are insinuating that somehow we are doing something like your billboard says, that we're corrupt or we're nepotism and so forth. Again, it makes a nice billboard, but if you want to bring us evidence, I'll be happy to look at it. If not, thank you for your comments. So with that, let's move on. Next item, information, Marie Parati, dual enrollment update.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Executive Cabinet, and to our school community watching tonight and our audience. I'm going to give a brief update on dual enrollment, which includes college credit courses. And I want to explain to everyone listening, because not everybody understands this before I get started, there's 2 ways that students can earn college credit while they are in high school. There is dual enrollment, which means the students are enrolled during the school day at their home campus. It is typically taught by a high school instructor that meets the minimum qualifications to teach COD curriculum, and they are receiving both high school and college credit, and it is transcripted that way on their high school transcript. The second way that students receive college credit is through what we call concurrent enrollment. Concurrent enrollment is when students take a college credit course outside of the school day, of the bell schedule, and they're only receiving college credit, but it is still transcripted, the college credit, and it does go on their high school transcript. And I wanted to clarify that before I get started. So a little bit of background. In our district, we began our first dual enrollment courses back in 2018, and they started with CTE courses. We have what's called a CCAP agreement with College of the Desert, which they come in, they qualify our teachers, and then we identify the courses that they are qualified to teach. So that began in 2018 as we were beefing up and ramping up our CTE Academy programs. Then last year, we found 2 teachers in our district that met the minimum qualifications to teach English, and 1 teacher met the minimum qualifications to teach history, and we added history and English English was at both CV High School and at Desert Mirage High School, and history was offered at CV. We're no longer offering the history because sadly the teacher passed away earlier this year. Recently, down at West Shores, we got our first dual enrollment class, and we were able to offer CTE AP Computer Science. The teacher qualified because he had a master's in the content area. I also want to make a distinction. When we just first started dual enrollment, we weighted all the courses at a 4-point scale, even though they were college credit courses. Recently, when we've been adopting courses, we've been weighting them on a 5-point scale. Oh, I just realized I am so sorry. The screen was not changing when I was doing that, and I'm going to catch up now. Here we go. Okay. So this is a list of the courses that are dual enrollment that are currently being offered on a 4-point scale. IT Essentials, Internet Engineering, Film 1, Film 2, Hospitality 1, which is really a business class, Sports Medicine, Kinesiology, Public Safety, and the World of Work. Of those courses that I just mentioned, including the 2 English courses, we currently have 392 students enrolled in the courses as we speak tonight. All of them will be earning dual enrollment credit. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting, and this is what's on the horizon. We received 2 K-16 collaboration grants. The grants are targeting high school collaboration with community college with direct alignment to a university or a Cal State. So the first one we received is for an education pathway. We are working with College of the Desert and UCR. We have identified, oops, I'm sorry, I have to go backwards. We have identified 4 courses that students will take, but it will be a cohort. We are currently recruiting and advertising this to our current sophomores, and they will take these courses in their junior and senior year. What is yet to be determined is if they will be offered as dual enrollment or concurrent enrollment, or they could be offered as some as dual and some as concurrent. And we have not gotten to that piece just yet. Okay, and I just want to clarify that. We are hoping to begin the education pathway next year. The next K-16 collaboration grant we were awarded was for a health pathway. Same thing, we're going to cohort students. We have room for 70 students. We have already recruited current sophomores, and we actually begin our first course this summer. This one is in collaboration with, of course, COD and with Cal State San Bernardino Palm Desert campus. Your Living Body is going to be offered during summer school as dual enrollment. The other 3 courses at this point, we're looking at possibly offering them after school so that there's more access and opportunity for students in the cohort to take the classes. We know that schedules are really impacted, and in their junior and senior year, to try to squeeze in an additional course might be difficult, which is why we're looking at possibly doing them as concurrent enrollment. I just wanted you to understand the thinking behind that. We are still working through the details, but we are very blessed to have received both of these grants. We worked collaboratively. And in addition to this, both of these grants also qualify for the Golden State Pathways Grant. The Golden State Pathways Grant, we are waiting for confirmation that we are receiving it. We wrote this grant, and I did write this grant for $7 million, and we'll see what we're awarded, if we're awarded any part of the $7 million. Okay. So here comes, there's one more thing that I want to put out there that is not part of this presentation because it just happened recently. COD recognizes that our teachers, it's difficult for them to meet the minimum qualifications to be adjunct to teach dual enrollment. So they proposed to all 3 school districts that we choose a school site and we're going to do a team teaching model. And what that means is we've identified teachers that'll work side by side with COD faculty to deliver dual enrollment. And we chose West Shores, and we are currently working on a history class, an English class, and then there's going to be some sort of health class. It looks like it might be psychology, but we're kind of figuring those details out right now. And it does look like we're going to be able to get this going next fall. Those will all be dual enrollment classes, and we are very grateful for COD for the partnership. So the action item in the ask, it's actually under consent, and I believe, I didn't write it down, it's item, I think, 14.1. We would like to weight all dual enrollment classes beginning next year on a 5-point weight. These are rigorous college courses, and there's an inequity because our neighboring districts and most districts in the state of California, all college credit courses are weighted on a 5-point scale. We didn't start that way. We can't go back in time and fix that, but we can start next year. We would, what we would do is make new course numbers for the current courses, and then all courses going forward would be weighted on a 5-point scale. And that is my presentation for tonight. I'm not sure if you have any questions.
Ms. Parati, I don't have any questions, but I want to thank you for the work that you do. Every time you walk in here, you have a glow around you, a sense of positive energy, and it excites me to see that you bring that, and I think because you bring that, you make a difference in our children's lives, and I just want to commend you for the work that you do and the energy that you bring into this room. It's very positive.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, just to add on a little, I think whenever I see these presentations, ECT presentation, it makes me jealous, right? It makes me jealous that I'm not in high school right now, learning how to fly a plane, right? Or, dude, these are some really cool programs, right? And the dual enrollment, going to college with credits already on your transcript, saving you thousands of dollars, and by the time, maybe the next couple of years, hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? With the way higher education is going and the prices, right? So definitely very, very, feels good to be here, but I am a little bit jealous of our current high school students. I wish they knew how good they have it. Thank you.
I think they do. Thank you.
I also think it's important to note that it's also taking away barriers for our students, because AP classes, you may be able to do all the work, but if you can't pass that test, you don't get the credit. These, if you do the work, you're going to get that credit without the barrier of money, so that's amazing, and it's very good for our students. I love to hear that West Shores is going to get history, English, and whatever other one is, I'm sure, going to be excellent, because we know that this past year, it hasn't been the greatest as far as English, right? We're meeting the need, but we know an in-person would be best. So excellent information, very glad to hear it. Happy for our students.
Thank you.
I have a couple comments and a question. I also appreciate, all you do. I think as someone who's worked in admissions and records, specifically in the nursing program, I know that the health pathway will give an advantage to our students who are potentially looking to apply for the nursing program. It's very competitive. 300 applicants for like 30 spots. Completing these courses really gives them additional points for consideration. I think, looking at some of the wages in those positions, like there's a gap, right, in nursing. So I think it's really great to give our students that advantage. And I'm sure that, the CDE pathway as well is either a couple courses away from a certificate. So really appreciate that creative thinking to give our students that edge. I know that I mentioned it before, ethnic studies. I know it's something that we probably have qualified teachers within our district to be able to teach something like that. But I think having that perspective of community college, I know that there's a challenge across the entire state to have qualified ethnic studies professors. And so maybe there's an opportunity there. I know I mentioned it before, but potentially, right? Allow our students to have that course completed, because by the time they get to college, it could be that those classes are impacted. Yeah.
It is. And I would like to add, we have looked into seeing if any of our current teachers qualify. They don't yet. Okay, so maybe in this team teaching model, it's a pilot next year, and if it goes well, COD is going to expand the model. Okay, and and I should have said this earlier, and I apologize. My colleague, Miss Lindsay Rue, she assists with all the dual enrollment. Even though I had started it as the coordinator currently for college and career, she has really taken it and run with it. She works with the sites. She makes sure that the courses are set up correctly on the back end. She works with the enrollment and admissions of the students. And then something else I didn't also mention, we allocate extra service hours to our teachers so that they can follow the students and make sure they're successful in these courses. So there's a lot more that goes into it other than just a few meetings with COD, and I would really like to recognize Miss Lindsay Rue at this time also, because she does put a lot of work into this as well.
Anybody else? Just want to thank you for fighting for our kids. I remember a long time ago when I got on the board, I met with you, and you're kind of like, you just needed a little backup, and I'm glad we were able to support that. But truly your team, yourself and your team has done a lot with that. And also thanks to College of the Desert for finally recognizing that we're a school district in their territory too. And I will thank, I don't care, I will thank Board Member Gonzalez for pushing and recognizing that our kids need support too. And Board Member Vargas here, who does a great job at her position there at College of the Desert as well, helping all the kids, no matter where they come from, but especially the kids that come from our particular district in our East Valley. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Friday, before you leave, Mr. Cunha, I have one final comment. I've always been an advocate for kids to all go to a four-year university. And I can share a story that even though I went that route, that when I got out of CV High School, I became a certified welder before I was 21 by the state, and I could also draw a full set of architectural plans through mechanical drawing. And I really would like to see, a welding program, a mechanical drawing program. The carpenters continue to expand. I think the more we offer our children, the more choices they have. I sign painted and did drawings and welded my way through college, and it gave me that possibility. And had I not had that vocational training at CV High School, I wouldn't have had that opportunity, and it would have made a big difference in my life. So even though our children might not end up in those careers, the fact that they have that as backup and as a life skill in their whole life, it's a really cool thing that I can, my house, I still have a welder, I still have my mechanical drawing board, I still do stuff, I still paint, and it's all because of vocational ed. And I think we ought to expand it, maybe lean away from the service work that we do. We're very prevalent there, but really get into some of these life skills that really will pay a dividend through some type of, if they decide, a union wage job, a living wage job. And so I just want to share that with you.
Absolutely. And we do have welding embedded within our construction trades program, as well as our agriculture program. But I think what you're really referring to is a full pathway for welding.
Absolutely.
And we can definitely look into that and see what that would look like in our district.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. 7.2, Seha Local Control Accountability Plan update.
For the opportunity to provide you with an update on the development of the new LCAP. I will be co-presenting with Debbie Deal, a fiscal consultant and retired FICMAT fiscal intervention specialist, who has been supporting the district in refining our LCAP development process to improve budget monitoring and reporting. The goals and actions you will see tonight are a result of the educational partner engagement of all of our educational partners, which included 4 district LCAP advisory committee meetings, 1 or more LCAP roadshow events at every school site and department to disseminate information and gather feedback from staff, parents, and students in grades 4 through 12. Parent committee meetings, including our district parent advisory committee and district English learner advisory committee. Surveys for our staff, students, parents, and community partners, as well as other meetings and committees across the district. The LCAP plan being developed will cover a 3-year span from July 2024 through June 2027. The plan includes our district goals, actions, services, and expenditures to positively impact student outcomes while addressing the 8 state LCFF priorities. It's also an opportunity to tell our district story and how the actions, services, and expenditures will meet the unique needs of our CVUSD students. As we develop the new LCAP, we must also respond to the state accountability metrics and set targets for where we want to be in 3 years. As you see on the state data dashboard, our metrics are currently in the middle or to the left with yellow, orange, and red ratings. We will set targets to move towards the green and blue ratings on the right side of the gauge.
Good evening, I'm Debbie Deal, and I have had the pleasure to work with many of your managers throughout the district and several of your support staff to help develop the new 3-year LCAP plan. And so tonight I want to share with you and the community that we have captured more than $200 million throughout these goals and actions that we will be presenting to you tonight and again at the next board meeting. This was no small undertaking. Indeed, I want to give congratulations to the staff, but also all of the people that helped put together the new program, which is now fully embedded in your accounting system. So we took the old LCAP and we completely converted it, created a new program that embeds the goals and actions in the budget code, which was never done before, and that now will be represented in your accounting system. It was a huge undertaking by the staff in the state and federal office, but also with the support staff, with George, with Myra, with Fabian helping and supporting this task. It is now done, and we are just tying up loose ends, and we're proud to share with you tonight that we have $200 million embedded in the district's budget, and so we'll go over those component parts with you as we work through the presentation. Basically, the LCAP is made up of the LCFF state funds, and there's some contribution from the base grant, and then it includes your federal resources as contributing funds and other state grants, and we have pulled it all together. This is a totally different view than what you've seen before. Before, what you have seen is the local control accountability plan based on the LCFF funding sources, and now you will be able to see all of the federal strings, all of the other state grants, that complement your plan and go to serve the students of your district in all of the goals and actions. So the next slide, this slide is just on the federal funds. And you can see all of the different programs on the right-hand side that go to contribute those state funds that directly support your supplemental and concentration grants that are earned from your unduplicated students. So you can see by this list all of the different programs that go to support and are actually threaded through the plan, throughout the plan in goals 1 through 4. Soon to be another one, goal 5, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. I don't want to hit the wrong button. There we go, okay. So these are some of the programs that are complementary programs as well. There are other state funds, other grants, and it includes programs like the after-school grants, the ELOP, the ESSER funding, which is running out, but we still have a few more months to go. But you can see all of the different funding sources that have occurred. So just in the other state funding sources, you have 87.8 million embedded in this plan. In your federal sources, you have 21.7 million embedded in the plan as well. So now in this slide, we're really looking at just what the state gives to us in supplemental and concentration grant funding, which is about 80 million. That includes 74 million that is projected for next year, plus a little bit of carryover, which we have usually from year to year. You don't spend out all of the funding by year end. And so you have about 6 million there. That makes up the 80 million. And then we have contributing funds from the LCFF base grant of 10.5 million. Next, we're going to be going over each one of the goals in the LCAP plan, but ever so briefly, and you'll have a full review of this a little bit later on. But basically in goal 1, we're talking about funding sources, complete funding sources of $125 million. Throughout these goals, remember that we have about 118 fully funded positions. Those are just the positions those are not all of the positions in the district, but certainly there are several positions that will be represented in the budget documents. Next, I'm going to have Lorelei go over some of the actions that contribute to goal 1.
So the next 3 slides show the 9 actions for goal 1 on supporting academic success. And you will see the details that fall under each action on the slides, although I will not review every detail. Action 1 is implementation of multi-tiered system of instructional supports. 1.2, supplemental supports to strengthen the instructional core. 3, extracurricular student programs. 4, highly qualified educational staff. Action 5, college and career readiness. Action 6, multilingual and multicultural education. Action 7, Title I and LCFF, supplemental concentration, site allocations, and state and federal projects support. Action 8, technology. And Action 9, early learners.
With goal 2, we're really looking at the health and wellness and to ensure that we have surrounded in our plan social, emotional, academic success for our students. So in this particular goal, we have $59 million represented throughout the entire LCAP plan, coming from all of these multiple sources. And once again, we're going to go through very limited, but we're going to go through the actions related to goal 2.
So there are 7 actions for Goal 2. Action 1 is all around expanded learning. Action 2, student support services. Action 3, student attendance services. Action 4, transformational model in social emotional wellness. Action 5, homeless and foster youth support. Action 6, mental health supports. And Action 7, health services.
So we will move on to Goal 3. Let me get my papers here. And this is really around strengthening the parent and community support through effective communication for the success of our students. In this particular goal, Goal 3, we have all funding sources representing about $4 million. With that, we'll go over those action items with you.
Our first action is parent engagement. Our second, communication with our educational partners. And the third is community engagement personnel, so the personnel supporting all of those efforts.
With Action 4, this is the last one we have developed at this point, and it's really around professional learning and building the capacity of staff to enhance student learning. With this particular action, we have about $4 million represented in here, and yet we have no staffing involved in Action 4.
There are 5 actions supporting staff professional learning in Goal 4 that support the implementation of a multi-tiered system of support. The first are extra services and per diem costs for participation in professional development activities. 2, contracts to provide professional development. Action 3, conferences. Action 4, substitutes to allow staff to participate in professional development activities. And 5, salaries for staff that are supporting the professional learning. And we will need to add a Goal 5. It is an equity multiplier goal. With that funding that La Familia will be receiving, the state requires that we add an additional goal specifically on how those funds will be spent to support the school. They receive those equity multiplier funds because of the school mobility where students are moving in and out, and they have a very high non-disability rate. So that is why they're receiving those funds, and we'll be developing this goal and the actions and bringing those to you when we come back. So, did you want to add something else?
That is actually a new funding source for the upcoming fiscal year. And so it is not a common funding source that has been given to a lot of districts. And it really is about the mobility of students that travel in and out and migrant students that travel in and out of school districts. And it actually looks at very particular schools. So we're just getting this information. We will have it embedded in the plan for you for the final version. But at this time, we have the information. We know that we need to embed it in there, and we will bring it back to you very, very soon. So once again, we want to thank you for everything you do to support kids. This plan is a very comprehensive plan covering all of these goals and all of these actions, and bringing all of these funding sources together in a $200 million plan to support children. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions, comments?
I do have, Mr. Acuna, if I may. Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So just with that last one, and I like the sound of it on the surface, but it almost sounds like it's like we're reverse engineering it into, so I'd want to make sure that the community and everyone is on board as much as we are, so that we're not reverse engineering it with only our stakeholders, right? But again, on the surface, it sounds excellent. Of course, this is a group of students that needs that support. I'm glad the state is recognizing that and infusing us with those funds. But again, I want our community to understand that so that we get their buy-in.
Yes, and just to let you know, last week, our coordinator of state and federal projects, Karen Petney, went to La Familia and held a meeting with their principal and staff to engage their parents and students in a conversation around what the needs of the school are. So that will be incorporated into the needs section for this goal and as part of the educational partner engagement section as well.
Thank you. We're still collecting information on that and the requirements to embed it in the LCAP plan.
Board Member Gonzalez? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Were you
no,
done? I'm sorry, were you done? Okay, sorry. Board Member Gonzalez?
Yes. Ms. Ceja, Ms. Deal, thank you for the work that you're doing. I do recognize that this is a working document. I mean, as recent as last week, we got notice of these special resources to address some of the shortfalls and some of the services that are greatly needed at that school. And it excites me that you guys are on it. It's really exciting that this has been embedded into our accounting system so that we're very transparent and very in control of that pool of money that's designed for children. And I think if it wasn't, Ms. Dio, I just got a shout out to you. And obviously, this work is very different than what the school district has done in the time that I've been here. And it's because of you, and having you on board is just going to allow us to make sure that we're spending resources in the right areas and we're not eating up money that we could be using somewhere else. And I think that was the way that we had some of these financial challenges that we're recently experiencing. I think this kind of approach is really going to show us and demonstrate that somehow we do have the resources. It's a matter of making sure that the money's coming from the right pots and that there's adequate and efficient accounting, which you've embedded into this. And I'm excited, man. This is an exciting endeavor. It's taken a long time. We're still molding it, and it's really cool to hear the positive news. And this is very, very comprehensive.
I want to say thank you, but thank you to the staff that really helped with all of this, to make it happen. I might have had the vision, but certainly it took a lot of hands and hours in order to get it embedded in the accounting system, and the accounting staff helped as well. They're still working on embedding everything into the system, and remapping entirely $200 million is not an easy task. What's really going to be exciting going forward for everyone is the fact that the program is interactive and can be updated very quickly with one click. I call it a one-click program where everything, any changes can be embedded. But also on the accounting end, which is extremely important, you'll be able to have real-time information on every single goal and every single action at every single day. You'll be able to see what the budget is, what's been spent, and what is left over. And I think that's the biggest improvement that we have.
It really is. And thank you, Dr. Esparza, for the work that you've done. And it's wonderful that you have relationships with people like Debbie Dill and Ms. Ceja. You're always there to do the work. And it's just exciting that we're going in the right direction.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, just a couple kind of, one question. I know that there's still another scheduled presentation, May 28th. Okay, so there's going to be another opportunity to provide feedback and input. Okay. I think one of the things for me, and Trustee Garcia mentioned it earlier, like wanting to see some of the data. I think as part of the conversations this week, just making sure that we're justifying the allocations. Like, is there evidence that this program, this XYZ strategy is really supporting and is gonna get us to our goal. I think the document, how we should be reading it and seeing it is really guiding what we're gonna, I mean, that's what it is, right? Guiding how we're gonna do things within our district. So I think just really being explicit, and of course there is some, there also has to be some like open and broad things, but I think being clear about how it's supporting the strategies is important to me. Because if there's a question from us, I'm sure there's a question from the parents, right? And as we're holding ourselves accountable to each dollar, we want to make sure that parents can sit there and say, oh yeah, I can see why this dollar is being spent on this thing, because it's going to get us to, like this dashboard. I'm sad to see the dashboard, right? But I think I'm hopeful that it'll help us get to where we want to get to. I appreciate staff working to make that transition with the funding and how we're tracking it. Just saddened me a little bit that it's taken us so long to make that transition, but definitely hopeful to see us, better account for our dollars and dimes, and looking forward to May 28th for further conversation.
I want to add a little context to that too, because each one of these goals and actions have metrics behind them. And some of these metrics, there's more than one in some of these actions and goals. Everything has to be measured. So when we come back on the 28th and we share with you the entire LCAP plan, you will see some of the metrics and the guiding metrics that are giving the results. And also know that that's a starting place. You really have to look at an LCAP that if that metric isn't working, or it isn't giving you the exact information that you desire, or it's not providing that student success that's needed, then that metric needs to change. And so the program is able to capture that and to make those changes. So even though this is like the first look of the LCAP, doesn't mean that it's the last look of the LCAP. And that's really important to understand, that if this isn't working, we need to make changes and ensure the success of our students as an outcome. So we have the metrics. Those metrics we monitor and monitor all of the time. And your department managers have just done a wonderful job with creating these metrics that are behind this. And we can trace every single action back to metrics and prove to you that it's working or it's not working and you need to make a change.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for your work on the LCAP. I think, what I'm looking forward to is on May 28th, when parents can come back and kind of look at it, right, and make suggestions, not to totally change everything, but to offer their kind of input on what the plan is. But that parent engagement is really, really important to this plan. And also that our community partners feel like we've also engaged them in a meaningful way. So I hope that, because I see some stuff in here that we've been doing, right? So hopefully we have the data to prove that it's been working, and I think we know that, right? But we haven't seen the data, right? And so I hope that with these new metrics and with the embedded of the metrics, we can see and tell the story of the LCAP, because there are a lot of positions in the LCAP, right? There are a lot of things that we've been doing, right? So, and my last comment is to your last comment is, I hope that we pivot. And I always say this: if something is not working, I hope that we make that transition, because a lot of times we continue to go even though we know that we should maybe make a change. So thank you for your work. I look forward to just seeing on the 28th community's reactions, and then coming back and moving this forward for the next 3 years. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to thank you and the team for doing this. I think the opportunity, because it's a new 3-year one, to really start over in some ways and make it very accessible and understandable to everyone is great. I know Board Member Paz had to leave, but I know she's been requesting things like this for a long time now, and I'm happy it's finally happened. And again, I think I was actually here when the parents were here as well, and others, there was staff here as well. It wasn't only just parents, but, you know, they were asking a lot of great questions. And while, yes, it was a small representation of a district with thousands and thousands of parents, you know, thousands of parents aren't going to come and show up because they're trying to, you know, do their jobs and live their lives. But I thought they were asking very good questions, questions that, you know, I think some of us have asked in the past, and they're recognizing them because they can understand it now. It's a lot more simpler to understand and to read and to, okay, what exactly is that for, and why is, this doesn't make sense, and then you explain it to them, and then they say, oh, okay, I get it, or it still doesn't make sense. And it's good, and again, you know, Board Member Arredondo, we can change it. That's a great thing about it. When we do get that, it's not because this is simply a draft. This is one draft coming up, and we're going to get more, and then the board eventually will put it all together and try to come up with the best one we can. But I am excited about having those things kind of embedded in the system, and also, you know, again, going back to, we have to know if it's working or not. I think one of the failures, and I'll say it was a failure of the intervention program, is we don't know if it worked or not, because we didn't have data, we didn't have information. So it might have not, but we didn't have any of that information. So when it came time to, you know, the ESSER funds ran out, we didn't have a clue. I never saw any data that it was working. People liked it, but liking a program and a program actually working are two different things. So I'm hoping that that accountability, that data area that will allow us to pivot, as you say, to be able to say it's not working, let's change it, or let's do something different, or maybe it just needs a tweak here and there. So that information, I think, will be very helpful to us. So thank you guys for the work that you guys are doing, and then we'll see you on the 28th, and then back to us. Yes?
Yes, one last comment question before you all leave. As I listen to your presentation and I look over, I'm trying to identify where we can fit student leadership development in this LCAP, right? I think I'd be remiss if, you know, today we celebrated our student trustees, and I'm very big on student leadership, so how can we work to get that embedded into a 3-year plan?
You want to address it? So we'll look through the goals and we'll look through the actions and see where that can be threaded in for sure. We'll bring that information back to you on the 28th and we can talk about it. I know that with some of the CTE programs and some of the other programs that the managers have, we could perhaps thread that in through there and look at our survey data and see where it fits, because that's really important.
Right, no, of course, totally agree, right? I think as leadership is something we develop on a day-to-day basis without even knowing it, without even recognizing it sometimes, right?
Right.
But when there's that recognition, that emphasis on leadership, we begin to capacitate our students and tell them that they are leaders, right? In their own ways, and you don't always have to be the president to be a leader. You don't always have to be an elected official or title, right? There's always different ways that we can develop leadership within our students. That's it, Mr. Acuña. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Ms. Dio and Ms.
Thank you
Ceja.
so much.
Have a good evening.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. All right, moving on. Get the good stuff. Item 8.1, approval resolution 2024-38, conflict of interest code for Coachella Valley Unified School District.
So move. Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.1, Mr. Nichols requesting approval of out-of-state travel for 6 CVUSD staff and 35 high school senior students to attend the 2025 presidential inauguration in Washington, D.C., January 17th through the 21st, 2025. Do I hear a motion?
So move. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. 9.2, Dr. Esparza requesting approval of out-of-state travel to attend the National Direct Instruction Conference and Institutes in Eugene, Oregon, July 15th through the 19th, 2024.
Motion to approve?
I'll
I have a
second.
motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions?
Question.
Go ahead.
How many people are going to attend?
4 people will be attending.
4 people, okay.
Anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. 6-0. Item 9.3, Ms. Hernandez requesting approval of comprehensive,
You
That's not the
table
one that was
this
pulled?
one.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Trying to go this too much. That'll be on the
9.4.
next agenda. Item 9.4, Director Gonzalez requesting approval of updated previously board-approved fiscal year 2022 to 24 EXLP purchase order for EXLP ESSER 3 and ELOP programs through September 2024 to support EXLP umbrella programs, including Sunrise Before School, After School, and Summer School Programming 2024.
Motion for approval?
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions?
Or comments, I have comments. So for this one, for me, it's about the numbers making sense. I want to make sure that we're fiscally responsible. I want our community to understand and be able to follow our spending. These numbers are not mere numbers. They represent where we're choosing to support our students. And at this point, in looking at the document, it's 3,239 page document, I question where things are being spent. I also went through even the first few pages. Some things don't have dates on them. Some things are POs that have written in amounts, so it's like it's a digital printout, but then there are things written in by hand that are clearly, it seems like a misrepresentation of the numbers. I agree with kind of what are we going to do with 1.5 million labels? That's over $12,000 in labels, and that's one type of label. What is it? 2,400 rolls of tape, 300,000 labels, a different type of label, like thousands and thousands of dollars. Like, how is that helping our students this year right now? Where are we going to house all of these items? I don't want them in our libraries or something like that. Like, for me, it begs the question of, are we just spending money because we know we need to spend it before it falls out of our budget? Or it just doesn't feel right to me. It's a lot of information, but if you really go through it, it doesn't quite make sense to me.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
President Cunha, I've always had concerns in terms of the way that we present things on board items, and I know that we should not get board items. We should get them with time, not to try to fulfill a deadline, right? And my understanding is that the board has previously approved most of this, and tonight we're approving an additional 1.8. Is that correct, Dr. Esparza?
That is correct. So it's not a $10 million approval, it's a 1.8 approval, and in the board item, it does state where there have been previous approvals throughout the past year.
And the only thing that I would ask in the future, Dr. Esparza, is that this come before, right? And that the information is clear, because here I had 3 different people read it just to tell me if they had the same interpretation of it, or one person read it and everybody had the same interpretation of it. So if we could get a clear board item, that'd be great for me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Anybody else?
Call the question, Mr. Dupuy.
Yeah, I just had one comment. You requested this information like this. You asked for it all to be on, and all our other departments now are doing the same thing, so it's just a lot of stuff. I suppose when we do the early childhood one, we're going to get thousands of crayons and different things like that as well, so it'll be coming that way. Again, we've already approved a lot of this, and so, it is what it is. It's money that we need to spend for our kids. How does it do it? I personally didn't need to have all that information that you requested, but it's all there. But if you look at what they're using it for, they're going to be due. But again, I can give you any document. 3 people look at it, 3 people are going to have different interpretations. So again, I will ask you, what exactly is it that you want it to be? In what format? To make it clear to you so you will understand it. Again, I
So
bring
here,
anything to you. And again, I'm trying to,
there's
we've asked for it before, so we accommodated it, we changed the policy to do that. So now you don't understand it, or you're.
So no, tonight's board
please.
item should have been a $1.8 million item and not the same information that we've already approved, because we've already approved it. The other thing is you have 3 pots here. You have expanded learning, you have ESSER 3, and you have ELOP, right? If I was the state, the state has recommendations on the things that you can purchase and cannot purchase through these things. So I could ask for a breakdown, but I'm not even asking for a breakdown. I'm just asking for it clear, because here it says you're spending 10 million, but we've already approved 8 million. And all I'm saying is, can we be clear on the board item? And that's it.
So, Dr. Esparza, my understanding is like 8 people have to approve it before it gets to us?
Yes.
So in all those 8 approvals, did anyone find anything that's on this list that's not approved by the fundings?
No, it actually goes through not just us as leaders, it goes through budget, the budget department and the compliance department. And if it's not compliant, they'll kick it back. They won't allow it to go through. So it's been put through that process. I just want also to state that site discretionary funds were cut this year, and summer school. We have lots more students coming to summer school this year. We've been doing a lot more advertising, so there'll be a lot more classes. So a lot of this money is for that. They're helping to supplement at the school sites for the after-school programs, and they're also providing more support during summer.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Cunha, I call the question, and I find it interesting, right? Because we know exactly what it is, but for whatever reason, right, it's never enough. It's like, give me more information, and then it's too much information. And it goes back to, it's just a disservice to this community. We know exactly what we're doing. We know we've already approved most of this money, but because certain employees, certain personnel is wanting to comply and wanting to make sure, it's a lot of repeated information for nothing, a waste of paper, right? But again, that's how petty sometimes we become. And I call the question, Mr. Cunha.
All right, any more questions, any more comments? Well, good. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Opposed.
I support it.
No, I'm trying to count. We're 6 now. 5, motion carries 5 to 1.
I abstain. Sorry, I abstain. I abstain? Oh, sorry.
Okay, sorry for.
You skipped. Because, well, I want to make sure that it's not a conflict of interest on this. Okay. So I know that.
Again, just because somebody says it doesn't mean it's true.
Well,
I mean, I respect you can abstain, but.
I like to
just 'cause
check
somebody-
and make
just
sure.
'cause somebody Says it's a conflict doesn't make it a conflict. So the motion carries 4-1-1. No problem. Item 10.1, Ms. Alvarado, approval of the 23-24 fiscal year 3rd interim report.
Motion for approval?
Do I hear a second?
Second. Second.
I have a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Item 10.2, Emiliano Hernandez. Mr. Hernandez, adoption of resolution number 2024-36, temporary transfer of funds from district funds to nutritional services fund. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Item 10.3, Mr. Everson, approval to purchase 3 gate operators from Patent Enterprises, Inc. This is for gates.
Yeah, I motion to purchase these gate actuators. The number is significantly less than a whole new gate, and thank you
Yeah.
for doing the work.
That's what I was about to ask. Is that the same issue that we're resolving now? We actually
Yeah.
found the motors?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
So I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments?
Question.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Assistant Superintendent McLeod, approval of MOU between CVUSD and CVTA regarding professional development paid during summer school, 2024. Hear a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Cunha,
Hang on a second. Do I have a motion? And I have a second?
I have a second.
Okay. Questions? Go ahead.
No, I have some discussion. I mean, we, staff, in trying to ensure that we had great participation as we come back, the typical pay on this, the agreed pay is 200. We decided.
250.
250. And we decided that 300 was a more fair compensation. 350 was more fair compensation, so we upped it $100 per teacher. And even that was contested by the union president. That's how petty we are. We're in the wrong place. The fact that somebody would challenge that teachers are gonna make an extra $100 for this opportunity to come and get ready for the next school year, that's just kind of where we're at. And I just wanna, for the record, announce that this is $100 more, and even that was contested by Ms. Carrera.
Okay, any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 11.2, Assistant Superintendent McLeod, approval of new job descriptions for the CalPADS Coordinator and Student Information Systems Coordinator. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. Any questions on this?
Yeah, just really quick, I mean, I read it, but is this something that we're trying to do to justify within a grant or any type of requirements by the state or anything? The CalPADS?
It's always required for us to have a CalPADS administrator, and so we haven't really had a CalPADS administrator. This job description has been coming to board a few times, and so CalPADS and SIS is what captures our ADA and allows us to receive funding from the state, and so we need a CalPADS and SIS person in that division now. We really do, because it's been a lot of work on everyone else. I don't want people to want to reclass, and sorry, I don't want people to want to ask for a reclass because they have been doing a lot more work taking care of the CalPADS programs.
Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. 11.3, Assistant Superintendent McLeod, approval of educational services, new updated job descriptions for the 24-25 school year. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Do I hear a second? Have a second? Any questions? Seeing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-2. Next, 11.4, Assistant Superintendent McLeod, approval of Board Resolution Number 2024-37, salary increase for confidential management salary, increase and approval of revised, updated, classified management job descriptions. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any questions?
I just have a comment. I agree that it's never good, you know, to, given the situation that the district finds itself in, to you know, we have to be very careful with our money. I do agree, but I want to make right by those that needed to have their job description revised and updated that weren't part of the revision the first time. So I believe in equity, and I believe that people should have the same, that people should get the same raise that everybody else does. And this is why I'm supporting this item. But I know it's bad timing, and we should do it all, we should do every raise next, at the same time. So that's all, Mr. President.
I'll let it go. No more discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 12, consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered by the board to be routine and will be acted upon in one motion. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the time the board considers the motion unless members of the board or staff request specific items to be discussed and/or removed from the consent calendar, in which event the items will be considered separately. The superintendent, assistant superintendent of ed services, assistant superintendent of business and finance, and the assistant superintendent of human resources recommend the approval of all consent calendar items. Do I hear a motion?
President Acuna, I motion to approve the consent calendar, respecting anybody wanting to pull any item.
Okay. Do I hear a second? I have a motion and a second. Does anyone want to pull something?
14.6.
Oh, which one?
14.6. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
You guys are looking
I'd like
for
to
Huh?
pull 16.1 and 14.9.
And 14.1, you said?
14.9.
14.9?
9.
Okay, those three anymore? Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 14.6, did you pull that one?
Yes.
14.6.
Sorry. What? Oh, I'll be abstaining. Thank you.
Teach the dual enrollment. and
No, I do
concurrent
not.
course? That's all right. Thank you.
Sorry.
So,
It's okay.
motion to
being
approve
facetious.
14 point,
I have a motion and a second. Any other
14.6.
comments? All in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions?
I would like to abstain, thank you.
Motion carries 501. All right, 14.9?
Yeah, my only comment on 14.9 is that ELOP is TK through 6th, and I noticed that every school was written on the report, and so my concern is that it's kind of, it should only have TK 6 written on the report, as ELOP funds are primarily for TK 6. So, well, secondary, if we have served all our unduplicated pupil count, then we're able to use those funds for middle and high school, but it's not something that's written into the ELOP plan. So I just wanted to make that comment to you, because I think it should be removed, but I just wanted to make that comment, because I read that. So, thank you.
I motion to approve 14.9.
Here's a second. No, I'm asking for a second. I have a motion and a second. Any more questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion
Abstain,
carries.
abstain.
No, I was, yeah.
Huh? Are you opposing?
No, I'm not opposed.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
I'm abstaining.
Huh?
Yes.
You abstaining
No,
again?
yes, I'd rather just be safe.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I'll have you talk to the lawyer.
Yes, thank you.
Motion carries 501.
Sorry.
And then, what was it, 16.1?
16.1, yes.
It was mine. It was stated that there was incorrect information on 16.1. Ms. McLeod?
I did not catch the error. I don't see any errors. In 16.1?
16.1.
Something about the new negotiated rates not being updated?
I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Having them fixed, if there is an error in that salary schedule in there, that we
Possibly
corrected.
the stipends, I think we've already taken care of that. We've
Is
updated
it
it.
reflected in this?
I don't see
Because we were told it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't see it.
So I will make a motion that pending any mistakes or anything on here, we'll approve it, you guys fix them. hear a second?
I second that, Mr. Cooney.
Anybody else have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any
Abstention? No.
All those in, I'm sorry, motion carries 6-0.
I second.
I have a motion. You guys don't want to stay and do more? Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. We're out at 10:15. You got stuff to sign. Why don't you go ahead and sign them, and then I'll get the rest of them.
Always.
When you have rheumatoid arthritis,